One of the most brilliant things that was ever said to me by an extremely skilled psychoanalyst is so simple, and yet I do think it's the most fundamental thing to understanding oneself, is that it's all internal, right? If you finish a marathon in first place, no one comes along and drips dopamine in your ear. You self-generate that. It's all internal. It's all about your internal representation. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't good and bad events in life, but the fact of the matter is that if you set the next milestone as just outside the distance of what you're comfortable with, and you make it there, if you allow yourself a moment to register that win, you get energy to then set the next milestone and achieve it. That energy is dopamine converted into epinephrine, into adrenaline. People that display motivation over long periods of time have systems that put them into limbic friction and then overcome limbic friction again and again. Remember, effort, then reward. And many people are looking for the tools, the hacks, and the tricks that are going to take all the effort part out. What you want to do is build the effort and the limbic friction in, and then the reward in on a consistent basis. Most people don't know this, but there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. But what's interesting about this brain area is there are now a lot of data in humans, not some mouse study, showing that when people do anything that and this is the important part, that they don't want to do. It's not about adding more work. It's about adding more work that you don't want to do. This brain area gets bigger. Now, here's what's especially interesting about this brain area to me. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge. And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. Scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower, perhaps actually the seat of the will to live.
It's also very beneficial to be able to tolerate a lot of stress and still think clearly. And that's because, again, stress is inevitable. There are going to be times in which stress is going to hit, and we need to maintain clarity of thought in order to make good decisions, perform well on exams, say the right thing, not say the wrong thing, etc. There's a tool from physiology that allows us to do that. And this is a tool that you use not in the moments of stress, but away from stress, in which you can train up or enhance your stress threshold to become more gritty and resilient, to basically increase your mental toughness. It involves what's called cyclic hyperventilation. What you're going to do is you're going to take 25 deep inhales and 25 exhales. And of course, you're not going to do 25 inhales and then 25 exhales. You're going to inhale and exhale 25 times, which will definitely increase the amount of adrenaline, epinephrine in your brain and body.
After age 25, if we want to change those connections, those superhighways of connectivity, we have to engage in some very specific processes, and those processes are gated, meaning you can't just decide to change your brain. You actually have to go through a series of steps to change your internal state in ways that will allow you to change your brain. You absolutely can change your brain, but you have to pay attention to the thing you want to incorporate into your brain. You have to be alert while you do that, and then you absolutely have to go get some rest, because it's during sleep and during meditative states and during rest that the actual rewiring of the brain occurs.
You might think, well, I want an easy life. It's very often the case that when people look back at their lives, they're happiest about the things they did that were maximally challenging. You probably want something more like optimized suffering. If you're playing a game with someone, one-on-one basketball, you don't want to be 6'7" playing against your 3'4" nephew. You could probably just stomp the little blighter. It'd be 70 baskets for you and no baskets for your nephew. And of course, everyone knows that's preposterously moronic. So why not just always play with people that you can humiliate? Because when you're playing a game, you're not just trying to win the game. You're trying to become a better player while you play.
Part of what develops the human spirit is adversity and resistance. I think it was Schopenhauer had a quote, if roasted turkeys could just fall out of the sky and we never had to do anything, we would become the most miserable species on the planet. We would wither up and all die. And the idea is that having resistance, having problems, having adversity, having things not go your way, strengthens you, toughens you up, makes you understand what you value, what you want. When everything goes your way and it's just a smooth path, you don't have to worry about making a living, thriving, money is just coming to you, I just think you're going to shrivel up. You're going to become like those Roman emperors. You're going to be like Nero and Caligula. We're going to have 12 million Caligulas walking around, right? The human being needs adversity. We need trouble. We need difficulties to overcome, to kind of develop a soul, to develop a spirit. We need to be tough, and we need resistance from the world around us to toughen us up.
You need a vision for the future to motivate you to change, because it's easier to do nothing. So you need a reason to act. So now the question is, well, where might you discover a reason to act? You're not going to be very good at that when you first try it. So maybe you have to do some rather simple exercises to get yourself warmed up. So I could say, all right, here's the game. 5 years down the road, you can have what you need and want. Okay, but here are the rules. You have to be treating yourself properly, as if you're valuable, and you have to specify what your goal is.
The first and most important step is mastering yourself before anything else. But the problem in mastering yourself is a lot of it has to do with gaining discipline. And what I've learned over the course of writing my 7 books and through the course of my whole life is that you master yourself through learning something that you love, that interests you. That's how you develop discipline. To me, the key to life, the key to everything, the key to success is figuring out what you love. I call it your life's task, what you were born to create in this world. Now, of course, the main question is that people ask me is, how do I find that? And the trick in life is bringing out your uniqueness, bringing out what makes you weird, what makes you strange, what makes you different, and leaning into it. And I tell people, often when you were very young, when you were 8 or 7, you actually knew it, but you lost it. Reinventing yourself is like becoming someone else. It's like fun. It's a new role I'm going to play. It's exciting to feel like you have control over your identity, about how people see you, and that sometimes you like to mix it up. Michael Jackson was kind of the master of it. He was never quite the same person. He was always changing. So keep in your mind that at some point you're going to branch off from this one direction you're going in and have a plan and be fluid and be excited and not let yourself get stuck in a cul-de-sac.
When you start thinking of yourself as a victim, you become the victim, right? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You feel like you have no agency. So a lot of people now are talking about the crisis among young men. And young men are having a crisis in the United States. They're falling behind in school. And then I say, my advice is, look, this is the culture that you live in. You don't get to choose when you were born or what the culture is like. And yes, there are things that are working against you as a young man. Things like masculinity are no longer seen as a virtue. But you can't change that as an individual. You can't change your culture. That's just the way things are right now. And they'll shift back at some point. But you can't think of yourself as a victim. You can't think of yourself, oh my God, I feel so sorry for myself. The world hates me. It's all about women. It's not about men. Oh me, oh my. Then you're going to become passive and you're not going to feel like you have any agency in this world. And I advise young men to not think that way. You have agency. The masculinity that you feel is inside of you. It's not going to come from the culture. It has to come from inside of you. It has to come through your own skills and through your own thinking. Problem that a lot of people have in the world today is they find all of their relief, all of their pleasure from fantasy and illusion, like video games, like entertainment, like all kinds of fantasies about, the girls I'm going to date, ventures I'm going to have. And so they put all of their energy and their sense of pleasure and what is exciting in illusion, in fantasy. And reality is seen as something kind of ugly and boring. Or reality is like, gotta work, gotta make money, I'm getting older, I'm not gonna be young anymore, blah, blah, blah. Reality is ugly. And I wanted to flip it around. Fantasy and illusion has its place, but it's also the place where you get lost. It's also the place of drugs, of addictions, of losing touch with what's really important in life. And reality is extremely beautiful.
Power is like a game that people are playing. And if you have some distance from it, if you observe the game, it's much more interesting and it's much easier to navigate than if you take everything personally and if you're upset by everything around you. Well, there's a famous quote of Marcus Aurelius who said, if you get into a boxing ring with the boxer and he starts pinching your ear and putting his fist in your neck and making you trip and fall, you're not going to go complain and say, God, how mean you are. You're just an awful person. Because you got in the ring and you're fighting and you have to accept that that's what happens when you're in the ring. Well, that's what life is. We're in the ring. You can't complain. People are wrestling. They're pushing you down. That's just how it is. You got in the arena, so shut up and don't complain and just play it well. Never complain, never explain. And what it means is don't complain about life. Don't explain what you're doing or why you're doing it. Just do it. By whining and complaining, all you're doing is making people think bad things about you, looking weak. And when you complain a lot, you have a mindset where everything is kind of a potential complaint. Stop whining and stop explaining yourself and just do things in the world and let your actions speak for themselves.